because sex is something that can get better and better. And if you really want the toe-curling, tingle up your spine stuff, you just might have to wait a few decades.
Wow. All right. And you're kind of like getting at a lot of this already. What are like some things that like people on the outside might think about sex workers that is really like inaccurate?
Yeah, right. Yeah, they just think we have a bunch of orgies. And I don't really fault those women that are having orgies. That's fine. There's probably some orgies we need. But there's a lot of us, too, that have a lot of different type of skills. And really, my second movie video that I made for Fertile Ground and got an award called Tales of Sex, Magic, and Healing. It's a dozen of these things about how somebody who loses a partner or somebody who's been in a partner but hasn't had touch for 25 years, or, somebody who wants to dress like a lady, a woman who just thinks sex is all about giving and teach me how to give a better erotic massage, Charla, because, that's all about, what about you? Do you get massages back? Oh, no, men don't do that kind of touch to me. So it's just a great field to take somebody one baby step at a time and show them their own sexual empowerment, their own way that they can begin to lead, especially at times where they felt very powerless.
Right. So, Charlotte, even just like talking to you right now, you just seem very like you're like the fire's still going. Like this is a subject matter that you're very passionate about. Did that start before you went into the sex work, or did it come afterwards?
What did you say about sex work?
Did it start before?
I do think I'm a pretty passionate person. I had a good marriage for 25 years, but kind of an unusual, common type marriage. And it wasn't until I started to get into sex work that I began to realize you don't have to have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and then repeat that ad nauseum, so to speak. You can begin to use your breath, use your imagination, use your timing, play a little bit with power, play. When did we stop playing? When did it get so serious? So I'm so glad I made it a profession. And I think I bring that passion to that profession. It's been hard sometimes. My son hasn't really come to see my plays. He's 40 with a family. And I have some sisters who, one I really can't go visit. And so it's come with a price to pay. It has.
Like everything that you're saying and talking about sounds really right on and forward thinking to me, but it's just a bridge too far for them.
Yes. Do you know, I actually think there's a jealousy of women. We can be our own worst enemies sometimes about women that are successful and independent and make a lot of money and decide the boundaries of their work and when they're going to or where they're going to work. And I think there's some jealousy in there. And I think it's kind of a night and day profession in a way. I have a little sad feeling for my son, because I think he doesn't, he won't get to see, doesn't choose to see my plays. And I think he's afraid if the truth families are too close sometimes, and that's okay for work to be just a little bit apart, and that's the way it is.
Why did you, what made you turn to theater? When did you start writing about the industry and about that life and about sexuality in general? Yeah.
Well, I moved to Portland from Austin, Texas to be a grandma. I got a little two-year-old grandson. And I thought, do I want to keep seeing clients here? And I really feel like that footprint has been done. And I want a larger footprint. I want a footprint that brings art to people that might forward this profession. into something that where people can understand it better. They're less afraid of it. They might seek it themselves. They might not judge somebody else that does it. So I think I'm in the artistic. And then COVID hit, so I don't know if I can really take it on the road or how that'll be. But I've got a website in which you can see the 2 films that I made on, and I do a movie night where people, if they want to, they can view it with me, and we have a little talk afterwards. So I'm trying to line my light up to use my theatrical and my playwriting skills in a way to make people understand and feel better about their own stories, encouraged to tell them, to believe in them and trust them, and share them even about sex.
Right on. Charlotte, am I wrong? Were you in Invited Desire with Eleanor
No,
O'Brien?
I wasn't here yet in Austin, but Eleanor O'Brien is the director for both of my Naked at My Age and Tales of Sex Magic.
She would be the one.
You know, thank you, Portland. Number one, for being so creative and artistic, and Profile Theater is just a really big juggernaut in that. And thank you, Eleanor O'Brien, too, for being the sassy, smart theater woman that she is, because she said, Charla, you've got a story, and you need to tell it. And so I did.
Yeah, that was a good Eleanor imitation, too. She sounds just like that. You know, and I say I love her. I've known her for years. That's fantastic. So one last question. You said you were doing sex work in Austin, and then one of your clients said, why don't you come on and be a sex healer?
Yeah, one of my clients said, you know, you work very intuitively and very healing with me. And this is when I was still a prostitute. Mm-hmm. And he says, you have to meet a sexual healer here in Austin. She's a friend of mine. I said, okay. And he said, no, you have to get on the phone with her right now. Matter of fact, I'm going to use my $300 session to give you a foot massage while you talk on the phone to this lady. And this lady told me, she said, you know, honey, do you want to make, you know, more money, see exactly the client you want, and to do exactly what you want? You need to get out of the agency. They're not doing anything to protect you anyway. And you make yourself a website. It only has to be 3 pages, who you are, what you do, who you want to see. And I did that. And my son actually built the website for me. And that's history. It is the field of dreams, and they came. There's so many people yearning for an authentic experience, to learn about this wonderful body and how to take it up one more step, to feel it better, to feel more relaxed with it, to be open to the sensations more, and a more intimate, genuine sharing with someone. That it's a wonderful field.
Right on.
Great.
Well, yay, Charla. Thank you so much for coming in, and thanks for sharing and being so frank and open about, you know, and not just like working in the sex industry, but sex in general can be a scary thing for people to talk about.
It is a hard thing to talk about. And when I do workshops, that's what people say, oh, you make such a hard to talk about subjects seem pretty natural and normal, and maybe that's my gift. Then I hope so. And I want to thank you for Profile Theater and for bringing the oldest profession right here for all of us to enjoy. I've got my ticket, and I'm sitting in the front row. I can't wait.
Well, I'm sure Josh will be glad to hear that. All right, thank you. This has been Charla Hathaway for Satellite Beyond the Page.